Welcome to our series, Moving America Forward. Each week we'll be focusing on America's entrepreneurs as they take us to new roads, new opportunities, new ways to fill the gaps left by today's failing companies. Our series will be looking at that and a lot more. So come with me and watch as the entrepreneurs of our nation move into the future.
And I'm Doug Llewelyn here in our studios in Los Angeles with our guests today who have come all the way from Des Moines, Iowa here to Los Angeles to be with us. We have with us the president and the executive chef and director of restaurants for an organization known as Jethro's BBQ, again headquartered in Des Moines, Iowa. This is really a unique story about a young man who left college with a marketing degree, began selling mattresses, and before long became the top mattress salesman in the country. He became so successful, by the age of 26, he started buying apartment buildings. And in turn, he eventually got into rescuing historic buildings like train stations, abandoned hotels, and the like. And that eventually led him into the restaurant business, which brings us to where we are today. I'd like you to meet now, on my left, Bruce Gerlelman, who is the president of Jethro's BBQ, and Dominic Iannarelli, who is the executive chef and director of the restaurants. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you here. What a story you have. I must tell you, it is really fascinating hearing about it. First off, before we begin, and don't talk too much now, before we begin, a little while ago you had a conversation with William Shatner, had a chance to answer some questions. Let's take a look at a brief part of that and see how it went, and then we'll continue, okay?
Thank you.
All right, let's watch.
It's not easy to succeed in today's competitive world. Describe for me, briefly, what it is you do and why you think you've been successful, and does that have anything to do with moving America forward?
Mr. Shatner, Jethro is living the entrepreneurial dream. In the midst of the Great Recession, he has built 5 new restaurants, creating thousands of construction jobs. He now employs over 600 Iowans and is the largest independent purchaser of pork and soybeans in Iowa. And that, Mr. Shatner, is how Jethro is helping move America forward.
You know, that's really pretty fascinating. I am prompted to ask you, because I've heard so many people say the restaurant business is such a hard business to be successful in. What prompted you to get into the restaurant business in the beginning?
Well, I was in real estate. I had vacant space, and I had tenants that would go in and out of business, and I just decided, you know what, I can do this myself. And so we opened Splash Seafood Bar and Grill in Des Moines in 1998 in one of my buildings, in one of my historic buildings in downtown Des Moines.
Right.
And I tried to bring the same attention to detail that is required in restoring historic buildings to the restaurant business. So at Splash, we fly fresh fish in from Hawaii, from Alaska, so that every morning we have fresh fish in the restaurant. And it's a fine dining restaurant that is really unsurpassed in the Midwest.
I should point out, your favorite seafood restaurant, and there are not a lot of seafood restaurants in Des Moines, right? You don't find a lot of seafood. It closed. And so that's when you decide, all right, if I'm going to open a restaurant, it's going to be seafood, because I like seafood.
Absolutely. My favorite is a bacon-wrapped barbecued shrimp. And if I couldn't get that anymore, I decided I was going to have my own restaurant.
Okay. So in any event, you opened Splash, and it became very successful. It's a fine dining restaurant, right?
We are Dorona Award winning. We've been Distinguished Restaurants of North America. We've received that award 5 years in a row. And we are Wine Spectator Award of Excellence for the last 13 years in a row.
I mean, that's a great credit to you.
I am very proud of Splash. I'm very proud of the food that we have, and I'm very proud of our staff.
All right, now let's get to Jethro's, because this is the name of the company you have. Splash is still going, but now it's Jethro's. Jethro's BBQ in Des Moines. Number one, who's Jethro?
Jethro is a larger-than-life figure that is someone that we are very, he's iconic, but he is a fictitious character.
But you were searching for names, and somehow you came up with Jethro and said, that's it, right? And that's where it is.
I came back, I was on a trip to Austin, Texas, and we were thinking about, we had some barbecue down there, and I came back to Des Moines, and I said to Dominic, Dominic, we need to open a fine dining barbecue restaurant in Des Moines, Iowa.
What did he say?
He said, let's do it.
And then it started.
And then the search for the name, of course.
And I was up on a bicycle cycling along, thinking of names, and the name Jethro popped into my head. I was looking for a hillbilly name, and it stuck.
To give you an idea of how successful Jethro's has become, he's opened a number of restaurants, as he's going to explain. But he opened one called Jethro's Jambalaya, which is kind of New Orleans-style barbecue. 10,000 people came the first week, right?
And then we got busy.
And then you got busy. I mean, most restaurateurs would drool at the thought of 10,000 customers in their first week.
You know, Dominic designs all the restaurants, the layouts, and a 400-seat restaurant, he's a master at it. And I'll let him talk a little bit about that.
Let me ask you, Dominic, you're the one who helps create all the, well, not helps, you do create the recipes, you're in charge of the food, you're in charge of the chefs. Tell me about the food. What makes it so special?
You know, we just try to keep that down-home aspect to it, really do everything from scratch, the same kind of care and love your mother put into that famous Sunday dinner when she cooked it for you. We try to bring that out every day at Jethro's. So quality ingredients, great big portions, and awesome, amazing slow-smoked meats.
And you do the recipes yourself?
We create them as a team.
You
The
do.
original ones, we actually started in my backyard. Bruce got the smoker, we put it back there, and every weekend just kept practicing and practicing until we got it right.
And as I understand it, you are, as you pointed out to Mr. Shatner, you're the largest purchaser of pork and soybeans in the state of Iowa.
Soybean oil, independent.
Soybean oil, independent,
Yeah,
okay.
As an independent company, yes, we are.
So when you say the largest, what are we talking about? How many pounds of pork do you guys buy?
We're buying upwards of 1 million pounds of pork a year.
Holy mackerel.
That's a lot of pigs.
That is a lot of pigs. You got it right. Yeah. So what's the style of the restaurants? You're in the bed. What do you think has made them so successful?
It's a very unique concept in that it's fine dining, full service, rock and roll sports bars. We have
that doesn't really go together. Fine dining, rock and roll, they don't kind of mix.
Oh, they're very fun. We have a lot of fun at Jethro's. We have 15 satellites at each location so that we can show every NFL game being played at one time.
Right.
Over 30 big screen TVs. We play rock and roll in the background for the energy, for the fun, the music, and then we serve amazing quantities of our slow-smoked meats.
Yeah, I've heard it's almost impossible to eat everything. In fact, you have a sandwich that won an award because it's so doggone big, people just can't eat it, right?
The Adam Emenecker, and I'll let Dominic tell you everything that's in that sandwich. It's a 5-pound sandwich.
A 5-pound sandwich, great.
We'd worked with Adam Emenecker and he put every one of his favorites on the menu on one big sandwich, from our famous brisket to the slow-smoked pork, burgers, our big Iowa tenderloins, fried cheese, buffalo chicken tenders, and people started paying attention.
It's like a foot tall almost,
It
right?
is almost a foot tall.
Holy mackerel.
The challenge is to eat that sandwich in 15 minutes, and that's when Man vs. Food showed up, and poor Ed Richmond could not finish the sandwich, and at that point, Jethro's became world famous.
So you put this thing on the map here. I want to get into the fact of how much attention to detail that you put into this, because a lot of restaurateurs may see this and may be green with envy with your success, but it comes with a lot of hard work. What's your day like?
I tell my staff every morning there are 1,200 details that we have to take care of today before we open the restaurant, and none of those relate to the food. From the cleanliness of the restaurant, to the bathrooms, to the front entry, to the cracks in the corners, it all has to be clean. It goes on and on, the endless list of details that you have to take care of if you're in the restaurant business.
And explain, you go to the restaurants all the time. You're in 2 or 3 restaurants a day.
You have to intensely manage the people and your staffs, and you have to motivate them all the time. I was a coach for a lot of years, and I teach and I coach my staffs and my managers. And encourage. You've got to inspire people to greatness every day.
But when you walk into the restaurants, what are you looking at? You're not going in to test the food, are you?
I do test the food, but I am looking at all the details. I'm looking at if the front sidewalk is swept. I'm looking at if the trash is picked up in the parking lot. All those little things are very, very important.
And the staff appreciates the attention that Mr. Gerlelman and myself play to that each and every day. They know they'll be held accountable for that, and they enjoy that part with it.
Here's the other key. Talk to me about the jobs that you are providing for the people in that area and what you do for these employees.
We're very proud of our staffs, and that's why we are so successful. We can't do this ourselves, obviously, with 5 restaurants serving 100,000 people a month. But what we provide for our managers, we pay them at the very top of the standard. They also share in profit sharing. We pay 100% of their health care cost. We pay 50% of all the health care for all of our hourly people. And we make very sure that our managers don't get burnt out because they work a 5-day work week. It's all about the people. The only way you can be successful in this business is to have good people.
You have how many employees?
Over 600.
So you're providing, and they're a family.
And it is a family, and it happened all during the midst of the Great Recession. That's what's so amazing about our story.
The other thing I wanted to point out that kind of helped put Jethro's on the map was Better Homes and Gardens naming your sandwich the best barbecue sandwich in the country, right?
People ask me all the time, how did you get all of this national attention? And it all started with Better Homes and Gardens selecting us as their favorite barbecue. We are also listed as one of the top 100 barbecue restaurants in the nation in a book that came out. And then ESPN called one day, and they had nominated our sandwich, the Adam Emenecker, as the top sports sandwich in the country. We ended up taking second place. From there, it just went to the Discovery Channel then we went with the United States of Bacon, and then we went on to the manliest restaurant in the Midwest, as chosen by Men's Health magazine.
Men's Health, yeah. A foot-tall sandwich.
Yeah.
And the other key, of course, you had your picture taken with President Obama when he was in Iowa running for the office, right?
You know, I'm going to let Dominic tell you the story of President Obama's backyard barbecue because...
Dominic, I wish we had time to go into that story. We just don't have time to go into that in detail. But yeah, it's been really fascinating hearing what's behind this restaurant chain because, again, being in the restaurant business is really difficult, but you've put your finger on something and you've really become successful and you're really, truly to be congratulated. And any plans for expanding in the future?
We are looking at a couple of new concepts, and we are always thinking.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been really enriching.
This organization represents companies across our great nation that embody the spirit, dedication, know-how, and can-do attitude which has made America the great nation that it is today. And now let's present the Keeping America Strong Award.
Now it is my honor to present this prestigious award to Bruce Gerlelman, the president of Jethro's Barbecue of Des Moines, Iowa, for the outstanding work that his firm is doing to help keep moving America forward. Bruce, it's a real pleasure to give this to you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I have to thank my staff, my managers, Dominic, the people of Iowa for making Jethro everything that he's become. It's been fun. We've had a lot of fun, and we've made a lot of people happy. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you.
That's it for another edition of Moving America Forward. I'm Bert Tenzer. Join us again as we continue to bring you the entrepreneurs who move America forward.
I'm William Shatner, and for all of us at Moving America Forward, thanks for watching.